Hey, it's Hutch from Hutch High Perf. Back at it again. Let's see what I'm up to today. Well, since the last video, since I was fiddling around with the pulleys, and I was getting ready to take some of this stuff back off, because I've got to prime the engine and then I've got to put it in the car. All right, so I forgot about these braces. If you remember, this side, there's 2 bolts at the top going into the head. There's also 2 bolts at the bottom here that go into a separate bracket that bolts to the side of the block at the bottom. So for this side, you've got 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. It's relatively stable, not worried about that side. But this side, there's just two bolts back here that secure it to the head, and then I think a third that runs down into this spot here. But it's all centralized in this one location. So I'm just worried about there being a little bit of strain on it, so I want to do something to kind of brace this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm either going to put a pair of braces or a top brace on it. So I thought I would just kind of go through real quick how I do little jobs like this. So this is how I go about doing it. So I've got the 2 connection points, and I just use mechanics wire, and I stretch it out and I wrap it around, and then I orient it how I want the brace to look, and then I just unbolt it, and then I make my brace, and this is my pattern. I'm ready to go. Same thing down here on the bottom. I made another one that goes from a mounting point down here on the bottom. I think that used to be for the air pump, which I'm not using, so I thought I could put a through bolt here and then run a brace down and then brace it to the underside of the block here. I may not need that if I've got these, because this connection point is like right next to where this one's at, so I don't know. I may make it just to have it, but we'll see. This one for sure, I want to brace at the top. This should keep it from flexing one way or the other, just in case it happens to do that. And that's what I'm going to do. So let's get the stuff together, and I guess we'll make a brace. So this is what I got. It's a 1/2-inch piece of steel pipe I just picked up from the hardware store. Here's a little tip for you guys. This is 1/2-inch wrench. That is how you know it's 1/2-inch. If you're going to the junkyard and you're trying to buy a sway bar or a bigger sway bar for your vehicle, whatever size you're looking for, 1 1/4, 1 inch, whatever it is, take a wrench with you. If it snaps right over it, you know you got the right size, you're on the right track. Anyway, so let's get to smacking this thing and making it do what we want it to. So with the top brace off of the engine, it also gives you a representation on at least how big you have to drill your holes out and the orientation for how it fits. And so now we just hammer one of these out of that pipe. All right, let's make some noise. All right, so with that done, I'm going to take my wire here, put that about dead center of the flat, and then come out to the end. And this way I know about where my turn needs to be. So it's going to be right about there. And then my flat will be on this side. Yeah. See how well I can do that. Yeah, that'll work. The real trick is not to drill the holes out in the wrong spot, because then it kind of defeats everything. So I'm starting on the one side. I've just got the hole centered up. And then I think from this I can figure out my spacing of the other hole once this one's done. Let's go see. All right, let's see how we're looking. All right. Yeah, not bad. Okay. Now we just got to figure out this side and make sure, because it's a smaller hole, just want to make sure you don't drill past the spot and then you end up having to either weld it in and then re-drill. So let's see what we can do to make sure we hit that dead on. All right, so we can get a straight line. There we go. And then another one right over here. Kind of shows me where my lines need to be. It looks like the one end is sticking up a little bit. I'm going to go bend that just slightly. All right, that's better. Nice and flat. So if I follow this line, right, I'll put it right. So if I hit it right in there and then drill a small hole, I'll be able to eyeball it as I drill it out until I get the size I want and I make sure I'm not off. So let's see what that does. All right, there's our pilot hole. Oh my. I believe that is right on the mark. Now all I just got to do is enlarge it large enough to get this in. I think we're on to something. All right, let's take a look-see at what we got. So here's some of my issue too. The intake isn't bolted on, so the height is going to be just a skosh off of where it's going to be. So the fine tuning is going to have to wait until I get the intake bolted on for good. But there it is. Put it in the grinder. You grind off the corners, make it nice and round, both ends, sand, primer, paint, and it'll look like any other brace that you saw in any GM product ever. So that is how I do my braces. It just works for me. Using the mechanics wire, it gives me a quick look at what the final product is going to be. It helps me get my orientation between this side and all that. And it just, as long as you copy the wire, it tells you everything. It tells you the size of the holes you need, and it tells you where everything has to go. It doesn't always work out 100%. Sometimes you got to tweak it. Like I'm probably going to have to tweak this. Once the gaskets go in and the intake manifold goes on for good, it may raise this up just a tad and may move it around. So I may have to open the hole up just a little bit. Who knows? But that is close enough for now. And that goes into the parts pile. And wait till we get the engine into the car. All right, well, that's just a quick look at how I make braces. It's just the easiest way I find to be able to do it. I hope this helps somebody if you're looking to do something like this. It gives you a good chance of doing it first shot and not having to fight and do multiple ones until you get it right. So that is it for now. I'm Hutch. This is Hutch iPerf. Subscribe, like, you know what to do. Anyway, that's the brace, and I'm out of here. Have a good one.